Almost a year ago, I played Little Nightmares on my streaming channel, and I'm not a fan of scary games, but I must say I quite enjoyed it. It had its good moments, and then some others that just made me want to pull my hair out. So, when I eventually was gonna play the second game, I thought, why not rank the chapters from most enjoyable to most annoying? So here we are, embark with me on this rollercoaster of emotions that is called Little Nightmares 2. The game starts off here, in the middle of a quiet, empty forest with a random TV on the floor. And not gonna lie, I quite enjoyed this chapter. The puzzles weren't that complicated, and the ambience was quite calm for the most part. We eventually reach a clearing in the forest where we find a small, kinda rundown cabin. We break in, as you do, break some stuff, and explore the basement, where we find our previous protagonist, Six. This introduction to having two characters going around together was a game changer for me. I loved the little things like being able to hold hands and communicate with each other. It was so cute! I'd give this chapter a 10 out of 10 just for that. But since it's not technically part of only this chapter and it's a thing throughout most of the game, I will not let it influence my final score. In contrast to that cuteness, you don't get many unnerving sights in this chapter, but the ones that you do find can be kind of disturbing if you don't expect them. What do you mean, Nasus? Oh, I don't know. Maybe something like a hunter that taxidermies people? Though it's not explicitly stated. They could just be mannequins. And yeah, they're people. Yeesh. Speaking about the hunter, I present to you this chapter's big bad. The bloodthirsty hunter. Make sure not to alert him, cause he'll chase you relentlessly with his trusty shotgun in hand. And let me tell you, this dude has pinpoint accuracy. Trust me, I'd know. Though he does eventually get his comeuppance when we get trapped in a shack with a shotgun of our own.
Okay.
For some reason, I found this scene very funny. I think I need help. And we wrap up the chapter by sailing into the unknown on a wooden door until we reach the beach of what appears to be a silent, rundown ghost town. All in all, quite a solid start to the game. Definitely not the scariest chapter, but that's good. If you're into that, I guess. I don't know. 7 out of 10. Probably a B. This chapter was something, let me tell you. It takes place in a rundown school, and it has the absolutely most annoying, finicky and wonky mechanics I've ever experienced. I may be exaggerating, but these traps, let me tell you, they add so many different iterations of the same one that it teaches you not to trust any environment.
Come on. It's not fair.
And these ceramic hits? They're the toughest thing to destroy this far. The timing to get a hit on them was pain. They either reacted too fast, emote before attacking to throw you off, or just straight up dodge your swing. I mean, come on, just look at this.
Oh, come on, that's not fair.
It took me 20 minutes to get past this one section. I just died a little inside after that. And we can't talk wonky without first introducing our dear old lady. Bah, the sadistic teacher. This old sag doesn't only have a rotatable 360-degree and uber-stretchy neck, she also has an astounding 40/20 eyesight and ultrasonic hearing. Tiptoe even slightly out of line and she'll immediately become triggered by your presence. We don't get to fight her, but we do get this chase sequence where she freaking follows you through some ventilation with her head stretching the tubes as she slithers through them. We managed to escape, but it definitely gave me a spook when it happened. Talking about spooks, this chapter doesn't really have body horror or soul terror built into it like chapter 1 has, but it makes up for that with the sheer amount of jump scares it gives you.
It's safer if we stay together. Oh my goodness. I did not mean to push those things there, but... Oh no, come on. Come on now, that's not fair!
They definitely didn't let me down with the spooks. But gameplay-wise, I hated those dolls and their gosh darn traps. I rate this chapter a...
That's not fair!
out of 10. A tier. Oh my, I really enjoyed this chapter. It's set in a sort of abandoned hospital, and in my opinion, abandoned hospitals are a really solid place for scary things to happen. And this chapter delivered. For the most part, it was pretty empty, all until the point where you start finding these creepy wooden prosthetic limbs and sentient hands that scurry around. They definitely gave me a big scare when they first came up. Oh my goodness! But they buttered me up nicely for the actual threat of the level. The patients. These fellas roam around the hospital, or, well, they actually just stay still, until the lights go off, of course. So yeah, basically, if there's light, they chill, but in complete darkness, they maniacally rush towards you. Kinda like the weeping angels from Doctor Who. They're definitely creepy, and I'd consider this the scariest chapter in the game just because of them alone, but I kinda loved it. I don't know if it's Little Nightmares itself, or just this chapter, but it made me forget that I don't like scary games. Just having to bravely run through a room full of sentient mannequins that twitched ever so fast towards me made me feel like I grew as a person. I beat my fears and can face anything that stands in my way. Nothing can stop me now. Yeah, alright, enough about the patients. But the fact that I can't stop talking about them really goes to show that they took the spotlight away from the actual villain of the chapter. Well, the doctor. This old bloke comes up pretty late into the chapter, and you mostly just have to sneak around him. There is a section where you're being chased by him, but I still think the patients managed to make for a better chase scene.
Okay, we made it. Somehow.
Anyway, we chill next to the incinerator for a while, melting our worries away, and finally exit the hospital, ending the chapter. Good puzzles, good ambience, really good minor enemies. It was a satisfying level to play, I must admit. It'd be a 10 out of 10, but the boss was a bit underwhelming. So 9 out of 10. Much spooks, very fun. High A tier. This was a really fun chapter. The platforming mechanics, the interaction with enemies, and the final boss. It was a very interactive chapter with a really enjoyable playthrough. I wouldn't describe this chapter as scary, especially not after the masterpiece that was chapter 3 in terms of scariness. But it was pretty good in setting a looming dread in the ambience of the level. Something I've been glossing over were these TV screens. I encountered 2 previously, and basically upon touching them they transported me into some sort of TV dimension, where we would run ever so slowly towards the door, kind of like in a dream, up until the moment 6 snaps us back to reality. However, in this chapter, something a little bit different happens.
Oh, we're getting very close this time. And behind the door there is...
Ah, the man in the hat. This dapper staticky fellow pops out of the television with murderous intent. He doesn't manage to catch me, but he does brutally whisk 6 away. Kinda sad losing our one and only friend who was there with us from the very beginning. Oh look, a new power unlocked! Neato! Jumping between screens was a really fun game mechanic. It added a nice amount of pizzazz to the level. Also, these watchers were extremely goofy in my opinion. Kinda like a kid with an iPad. They'll ignore you unless you turn it off.
Turn it on! Turn it on!
In this chapter, we also get followed quite relentlessly by this lanky freak. It's as if you owed him money or something. Kind of a fun chase. But it freaked me out when he started glitching closer towards me.
Yeah, don't do that.
Another neat part of this episode was its boss fight. It's a little simple, but it feels satisfying to fight with these new telekinetic powers. I actually don't know where we got this power from. Maybe... Oh look, we beat him! We did it, boys, the kidnapper is no more. So now our final job is to go into that creepy looking building and save our one and only friend. 6. Good chapter, neat game mechanics, and good boss presence. Take notes, Doctor. I would have maybe liked a little more spooks, but the chapter works well as is. 8 out of 10. A tier. Yep, that's me. You might be wondering how I got into this situation. Well, it all started way back at the beginning. Me. Oh geez, this chapter broke me. Well, it being the final chapter, it was to be expected. But oh man, I wasn't expecting this much emotional wreckage. Inside of this transmission tower, there's some sort of door maze that at first was really frustrating. They don't really tell you what to do, you just have to pick up on the clue that some doors emanate some sort of melody coming from a music box being played in the distance. But once you do discover what you're supposed to do, it becomes 1,000 times more enjoyable. After solving the maze and reaching the final door, you find the source of that music box. And the source left me speechless. So yeah, 6 is apparently the final villain of the game. I felt so bad for her. Turns out that the source of the music is also the source of her heroic transformation, therefore being her one and only weak point. The boss fight is basically trying to trick 6 into dropping her guard in order to smash the music box until it breaks. And once it breaks, 6 turns back to normal. But all hell breaks loose. The walls turn fleshy and start to close into us. We run as fast as possible, but the bridge we are running across breaks, leaving us for one last leap of faith. We made it! 6 saved us! We are so close to the exit! She just has to pull us up. And that, my friends, is why I have trust issues. So yeah, we get backstabbed by our one and only friend, 6. Cold-hearted. And that was a chapter. Oh wait, the credits aren't rolling yet. What is this? A chair? That's the ending? What the heck? So we don't only get backstabbed, it also appears we are the Slenderman that started this whole thing. And I just... it's so good and so horrible. I want to pull my hair out all over again. Well, that's Little Nightmares for you. It lures you in with cute children holding hands. And then it punches you in the gut. Yeah, this game left me speechless. But as for this last chapter, I'd say it was the cherry to top off this tasty cake of the shortest, but also the funnest chapter out of the 5. 10 out of 10, S++, ultra rare, legendary status. So that was it for this ranking. I enjoyed this game very much, and would highly recommend everyone plays it. So have you played Little Nightmares too? If you have, make sure to let me know your chapter rankings in the comments below, and tell me why I'm incredibly wrong and my opinion is irrelevant. I hope to see you soon. Take care.